Good afternoon, Turks and Caicos. It's a beautiful Thursday here in Providenciales. And of course, I got to say a good day to everybody across the TCI that's got it locked into Tropical Vibes 105.5, 103.5, the beat of the TCI. And of course, you're tuned into another Patriot Hour for this beautiful Thursday. And in case you didn't know, today is International Girls in ICT Day 2016. And I got to give a shout out to all of our beautiful ladies across the TCI that, are involved in information and communications technology. So much love to you guys, and continue to do your thing. And I want to encourage other girls out there to get involved in, what they call STEM studies, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Today we'll be dealing with a little bit of math, but in a different way. In case you didn't know, we got wonderful folks in the house today, and we'll be talking about micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise investment or assistance. And so I will let our special guest introduce herself. She's no stranger to the TCI by far, and of course, I'm sure some of you are probably wondering who it is. So go ahead.
Good afternoon, Turks and Caicos. My name is Angela Musgrove, and I'm here representing Invest Turks and Caicos and the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Program.
Okay, and of course, at this time, I'd like to apologize for Ms. Sophia Thomas from the Center for Entrepreneurial Development. She was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, she can't make it, feeling a little bit under the weather. But hopefully, she's near a phone and can call in and share her thoughts on today's topic. And I think it's an important one. It's a timely one, being as we're looking at growing as a country, developing as a nation, not just from a social standpoint, but from an economic standpoint. And the theme this year seems to be empowerment, trying to empower Turks and Caicos Islanders to take their rightful place. And with that said, I'm going to jump right into it. And I'm going to ask Ms. Musgrove. I know you guys recently held a community forum here in Provo, one in Grand Turk last night, and I believe you're having another one in South Caicos tonight. So how has that been going in terms of, creating awareness and getting people out to ask questions and inquire about what assistance their businesses may be able to get in terms of whether it's financial or technical assistance?
We are pleased with the response that we've been getting from persons, both in attendance and also in follow-up calls, or texts, or visits to the office, wanting more and more information. The turnout in Providenciales on Tuesday evening was quite good, and we had lots of questions from persons who are interested in the program. Last night in Grand Turk, we also had a fairly good turnout, and this morning the team is in Salkey.
Okay.
So we are pleased with the fact that the residents are showing interest in the program, and we hope to see that interest followed up with the submission of applications for the various benefits that the program offers. We have the team traveling to North and Middle on Monday, and then they're going to be in South Caicos on Wednesday, and that should have all of the islands covered. But of course, we'll continue with promotions for the program in the coming weeks.
Now, you're speaking of the program, and in particular, I believe you mean the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise program that is being facilitated through the MSME Ordinance. Now, we all agree that small businesses are important to economic development, and in particular in small states like the Turks and Caicos Islands. So what exactly is the role of Invest TCI in relation to small business development through this new micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise ordinance?
Well, Invest Turks and Caicos has been mandated to facilitate investment. And that approach is twofold, because we're going to be focusing on inward investment, FDIs, and we're also going to be focusing on domestic investment. So to kick off our the domestic investment side, we have been charged with the responsibility of managing the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Program. So that program allows us to facilitate local development, to encourage our local entrepreneurs to look at how they can expand their businesses, further develop their ideas. And those persons who may not even have gotten started as yet, but have an idea and want to invest, we want to give them the support. So because of the threefold approach that the program, or the three benefits that the program actually offers, we hope to be able to actually give our young entrepreneurs the support that they need to grow and develop their businesses. Hence, of course, contributing to greater economic development here in Turks and Caicos.
Okay, now speaking of the benefits of the program, now what are those main benefits of the MSME program?
The program offers benefits in three primary areas. That's cash benefits through a cash grant, and that's what everybody wants to know about. Technical assistance, which is also extremely important, and we've had quite a bit of interest in that portion of it. And then there is duty concessions. So those are the three primary benefits that you can apply for under the program. The cash grant is limited, however, to those businesses that we consider micro businesses. And the other two benefits can be attained with businesses that are in either category, whether small, medium, or micro.
Okay, now what's the difference between the categories? Because I know for a while, I myself have been trying to find out what do we define as a small business here in Turks and Caicos, and the answer, I've gotten various different answers from many individuals, and so I would like to know, what's the official definition?
Okay, the MSME ordinance, and I say MSME, it refers to micro, small, medium enterprises. The MSME ordinance has defined small businesses. Small businesses is the overarching term that we use to refer to micro, small, or medium enterprises. And they are categorized based on the number of employees, the net assets that the business has, and the net annual turnover. So in simple terms, we look at businesses with not more than 5 employees, and we term them micro enterprises. Businesses that have more than 5 but less than 19, they fit within the micro, the small, and then businesses that have over 19 but less than 25 would fit within what we term medium. Anything over that is large, and they don't fall under the categories that we have.
Okay, and so you said that the cash grants can only be applied for by
micro enterprises, yes.
So why is that?
I think because the part of the rationale is that we want to give an added boost to those micro businesses, and the larger firms would probably benefit more from the concessions and the technical assistance that would be needed. Perhaps later on in the program, or depending on the success and the feedback, reviews from this program, we'd go back and review and see what tweaks can be made. But currently, only small businesses, the micro enterprises, can access cash grants.
And what size is this cash grant? Does it vary, or is it one particular size and that's what everybody gets?
The cash grant, it maxes out at $10,000.
It maxes out at
right.
10. So I could apply for less than 10,000
yes.
potentially.
You can apply for less, but not more.
So take us.
But you could apply, but you can get nothing more approved.
Take us through that application process. How do I get this 10,000? Because I know that's what everybody out there want to know.
Okay, the application process, we try to keep it as simple as possible. And all of this information, by the way, before I proceed, is on the web. So if you visit the web page, www.investturksandcaicos.tc, you will find all of the information that I'm sharing today on the website. And if something that I would have said is not there, then you can always call, and we'll ensure that we help you to find it. But the cash, any of the benefits can be attained by completing an application form that is available online, and submitting the application form along with the accompanying documents. And the accompanying documents are listed on the application form. Things like your passport, a copy of your passport, valid business license you must have, proof of belonging status. So you have some documents that have to be submitted along with the application form. And one of the primary documents would be the business plan. So we're asking persons to prepare a business plan or business proposal, as some people term it, that gives us details on what it is you want to do and how you propose to do it, so that we can be assured that what you're doing is something that is sustainable and also falls within what we deem the priority areas. Because, of course, there are criteria that has been set out through the ordinance that allows us to know who is eligible for benefits from the program. So once you would have completed the application form, gotten your accompanying documents, including your business plan, the forms are submitted to Invest Turks and Caicos, and those projects are reviewed. And the panel, there is a panel that will meet and review the applications monthly, and the benefits will be distributed based on the merits of the application that you would have submitted.
Okay, now, when persons submit an application for a grant, is that can that grant be for anything that the person deems useful in the business, or are there specific things that you can only apply for?
Now, the ordinance itself speaks to priority areas, and what we have done, the ordinance seeks to encourage production or an increase in economic activity in certain priority areas. And those priority areas are subsectors of agriculture, which includes market gardening, hydroponics, farm mechanization, livestock and dairy development, agribusiness, and apiculture, what we call beekeeping. Fisheries, subsectors of fisheries, fish farming, fish processing. Then there's manufacturing, processing, and commercial cleaning. Subsectors of tourism to include bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, and tourism attractions. Physical infrastructure, that physical infrastructure must be related to agriculture or the fisheries priorities areas that I have listed earlier. And then there's technology and innovation and arts and music. So your application, the project that you are submitting an application for must fall within the priority areas that are listed there.
Okay.
And the aim of that is to try to get persons to begin to think creatively, and projects that are innovative and with a view to adding some layers of diversity to our economic.
Let me play devil's advocate here and add something that is an area of interest to me, and I've always said I think we've greatly underdeveloped this area in the Turks and Caicos, and that's the area of I guess you could call it art, but it's more of publishing, where we don't write our own books a lot. And by that, I don't mean not any of us, but not a whole lot of us write. We don't publish material, which goes back to why we don't have a copyright office, patent, and all those different things. So hypothetically, let's say I wrote a book, right? I'm an author. I decide I want to be an author, and I write this book, and I decide I want to publish this book and have this book sold within the Turks and Caicos or within the wider market, whether that's through digital and online media or in print or whatever. Would I be able to apply for assistance from Invest TCI in those terms? Because I know technically you're not running a business as such, but you are in business.
Do you need a business license?
Yes, you do.
Okay, well, if you need a business license, then the chances are that you can qualify under arts, because one of the requirements that we will not waive is that you must have a business license to be considered a small business entity.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, even though you're not running a business as such, you're in business because you're selling books through outlets like bookstores, online retailers, those types of things. So I was just wondering, how would that situation work?
Right. Well, you can produce a business license that says that you're a legitimate business, and we're actually contributing to the development of an art, literary arts. So something like that can be. You can seek assistance for something of that nature.
So would it work the same for any art form like dancing, painting?
Well, I think the rationale behind including arts in the ordinance is to encourage the development of the arts in Turks and Caicos, because we do realize, as you have said, that is one of the areas that have, that has not been given much attention. So the whole idea of putting arts there is to ensure that, you know, some persons who may have interest in that area now they now have an avenue for support. So hopefully you'd go and write the book. And
Well, I mean, even though I was speaking hypothetically,
Right,
I actually
right.
have written a book. but I figured I'd ask, you know,
Right.
because I know several persons right now, young people that are actually looking to be authors. And so I said, you know what, let me ask this question while I have you in here. How would, if they wanted assistance, how would that work?
Right.
Because I feel, and this is from a personal perspective, that we tend to focus a lot on labor-intensive industries in the TCI, not so much on knowledge-based industries. And so something like that, I think, could be a great addition to our economic diversity.
What I would say too is that some of the criteria, and I encourage you to go and look at the ordinance and some of the things that it specifies that the business plan or the business idea must have. For example, you would have to convince your panel that whatever you're doing has a positive social and economic impact to the economy of the Turks and Caicos Islands, that it can create, there is potential for revenue, there is also potential for employment opportunities. There may be potential for linkages also from the opportunity, from the idea that you have. So we want you to look at, you know, your business in its holistic view and how it can actually benefit the economy. And your proposal must contain details of that nature. So we don't want you to develop a project in a nutshell that, I mean, you are the only person that benefits from it.
Okay.
You know, it has to be something that benefits society as a whole.
Okay, now going back to the cash grant and the requirements, and with the business proposal requirement, I know that's probably going to be one of the biggest challenges for a lot of local businesses, because most local business owners, they're in business but they haven't really put together a business plan.
Right.
You know, is that what you guys are finding is currently the situation?
Well, you know, part of the research that went into establishing the Center for Entrepreneurial Development, and I miss Miss Sophie because she would have been able to speak to this. And if she's listening, I would encourage her to call in so that she can share her views on it. Part of the research that went into that project and starting up that project revealed that one of the weakest areas that we do have is, you know, the lack of detailed planning when it comes to startup businesses. And the Bankers Association would have shared that, you know, small businesses come, they want loans, for example, and it's not that you don't want to support them, but you don't have any evidence that what they're doing is viable. They don't have financial records. They don't have, you know, a business plan of sorts. What we're encouraging business owners to do, or potential owners to do, is to sit down, think your idea through, put that on paper so that you could sell your idea. Because the truth of the matter is, what you have on paper is what sells. You may go into an interview. Let's think about it. If you want a job, the first selling point is your CV.
Well, exactly.
Okay, so you want to start a business, the first selling point for that business would be the proposal that you prepare that allows somebody to see whether or not this idea is actually viable. So, I mean, if you're thinking along those lines, then it shouldn't be difficult for you to sit down and actually put those thoughts on paper. What do I want to do? How do I want to do it? What are the resources that I would need to see it through? You know, and those are the type of things that the business proposal requires. Now, we have a business proposal form that is online that persons are considering very onerous, because I think that, you know, it's a lot of detail. And yes, it is a lot of detail, so I'd be the first to admit that it is. But that's the type of thinking that you need to get into if you're thinking of investing, you know, money into an idea.
Now, recently we had several young entrepreneurs on, and we were discussing this very same thing, you know, how what's more important, or what do you do first in terms of your business, whether it's the idea or the creative concept that's more important, or the actual implementation. You know, and they said to us that, you know, both of those things are critical. coming up with a plan to implement
Right.
the actual concept is just as important as the concept itself.
Definitely. If you're building a house, you can't build a house unless you have a set of plans. You probably could build a house, but it probably wouldn't be something that lasts or something that is very, sturdy. So the same thing that goes into other projects, we're asking you to put that same type of energy into starting a business. You're building a house, you need a set of plans that tells you exactly what it is you're going to do. You're starting a business, you need a set of plans that tells you exactly what and how you're going to do. I'm a teacher. I can't go into the classroom without a lesson plan. I have to plan.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask in particular about this business proposal template, because I hear a lot of people talking about it, and they are saying, man, this is a lot of information, a lot of work. And I myself have helped people write business plans in the past, and people have to realize that, yes, there's a lot of work that does go into it, especially into market research and into your budget projections. Now, what I want to ask is, what kind of technical assistance persons being given in relation to this completing this business proposal? Is Invest TCI and the CED going to walk them through it, or do you just say, hey, here's the proposal, you fill it out, come back to us?
Well, okay. Before let me make a distinction that first, Invest Turks and Caicos, the CED is not a part of Invest Turks and Caicos, right? It's separate and apart from Invest Turks and Caicos. What CED does and has been formed to do is to lend assistance to small business owners. So the CED has been set up to do that. So technical assistance in terms of support for your business plan comes from the CED. So when persons approach me about the program, I always encourage them to go and see the CED, Ms. Sophia and her team, to see how much assistance they can get in terms of guidance for the business plan and getting that prepared. So the technical assistance would be available through the Center for Entrepreneurial Development.
Now, that puts us in a slightly different, a slightly difficult position, because I wanted to ask you, how do persons apply? Because let's say I don't need financial assistance. What I really want is technical assistance in growing my business from a technical standpoint.
That's fine. We'll just submit the application for technical assistance.
Would it then go through the Invest TCI, or would it go through directly to the CED?
If you are the technical assistance that is through the MSME program can be applied for through Invest Turks and Caicos, right? Remember that Invest Turks and Caicos and CED are standalone operations. If you want technical assistance, you can apply directly through CED without having to contact Invest Turks and Caicos at all. And in some cases, we may say to you, if you come and we recognize that this is something, you don't have to come to Invest Turks and Caicos, because it really doesn't, fall under what the MSME ordinance is all about. We might directly, go directly to CED, and they should be able to help you. And recall too that our technical assistance is going to be restricted to priority areas that we have. So you may require something outside of MSME, and that's what the CED is there for. So the MSME program is going to be restricted to priority areas.
Now, I just want to ask, how were these priority areas chosen? What went into creating the specific priority areas?
The ordinance was drafted by and through the Ministry of Finance. And to be honest, when I came into the Invest Turks and Caicos, the ordinance had already been drafted. So we were more or less, given the guide to use to begin the implementation of the program. But I'm certain that they would have done some consultation and some research in terms of what are the bigger plans for the economy in order to identify the areas that they deem most pertinent at this point.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate and ask you a question. If we had, or let's say I was a business owner, didn't have a business license, right? Operating a business, because we know we have them. We know we have several of them, for so many years, and then I decide I want some assistance. Now I know you said one of the requirements you're not going to waive is to have a business license. What if I do go and get this business license? Would I then be eligible for assistance?
Once you have the business license, we're not going to I shouldn't say, but if you have produced a business license, it means that you are now operating legitimately, right?
Yeah,
Or legally.
yes.
So we would be able to work with you. But if you don't have one, we can't. But we won't be able to work with, we can't penalize you for previous in that sense. But what I should say here is that we're encouraging business owners, especially current operators who are going to seek assistance through the MSME program to ensure that things like their NIB and NHIP are up to date. Because we would ask you to provide clearance letters to show that you don't owe the government, because technically the money that is for the MSME program has been approved through cabinet, so it is taxpayers' money. So you can't be owing taxpayers and then coming to borrow taxpayers' money.
So what would happen in that situation if
Right, so you have to go and clear up your balances and then come back.
But suppose my balances are more than the assistance that I'm just saying.
Well, you just put yourself in some serious hot water.
I'm just saying, because I'm sure we're going to have one or two of those persons. Now,
we can't approve. We cannot approve, because remember, after the investors and kickers would have done the preliminaries and gone through the projects and vetting of the projects to ensure that they are in line with the ordinance that has been approved through the House of Assembly. We can't circumvent the ordinance and go back and approve to give Damian's Enterprises, because it would not be Damian Wilson, Damian's Enterprises assistance or support. Let's say a $10,000 grant, for example, when Damian Enterprises owes us $10,000.
Now, in terms of giving this assistance, how are the grants administered? Do persons just collect a check after their business case has been approved, or do you go and like
the grants
item by item? I'm guessing. Do you approve item by item and ensure that they're spending the money in the right places? Because I know in the past with previous organizations, we've had people apply for assistance and not spend the money on what they say is going to be spent on.
Right. And with a program such as this, you're going to run that risk of persons being dishonest and, putting in claims that are not accurate. We're going to have a compliance unit that allows us to be able to monitor the applications and also monitor once an application has been granted to monitor the status of the project itself. But in terms of the distribution of the grant, the grant money is going to be paid directly to a supplier for your material or your resources that you're asking for, or it's going to be paid directly to your business enterprise as a reimbursement for money that you probably would have already spent for the project. So we're not going to make a check payable to an individual. It must be made payable to a business entity, and you have to prove that whatever is being claimed is going towards the project that you see. Now, the ordinance allows us to fine up to $5,000 for projects that are that have made false declarations to the program, and it also allows us to request you to pay any monies back that you would have been advanced if we recognize that you are making false claims.
So if someone is making false claims, would they then have to pay the money back and be fined?
Definitely, yes. You can, because that is what the ordinance allows us to do.
So you run the risk of having to pay back the money that you illegitimately spent and an additional fine.
And an additional fine, yes.
Wow, I'm sure our person probably weren't thinking on that. So
Yes.
if you're out there, guys, and you had ill intentions, I suggest you change your mind.
Yes, and that goes for all of the areas, because with duty concessions, for example, the duty concessions can be granted in according to the size of your business. So if you are a small entity, a micro entity, your duty concessions up to 10,000. Small is up to 25,000, and then a medium can get concessions up to 100,000. So depending on the size of the business. So be careful that you don't, again, claim fraudulently and then be asked to pay the value of those concessions back to TCIG because you misclaimed, you didn't do it honestly. But I should note too, for technical assistance, that is the one part of the program that asks you for contribution matching. So if the technical assistance that you're applying for is $1,000, we ask you to put in $500, and the program covers the balance of the money.
Now, can I ask why that is? You've asked for that matching system where a person's pay 50% of whatever it is.
Because I think that the rationale behind that is that you're putting in something. Because if you're getting duty concessions, for example, you would have put in something in terms of purchasing the goods that you're actually getting the concessions on. So you would have contributed to the program in that way. You would have contributed to your business. So you have to make some sort of contribution in order for us to assist you.
I was about to say, so I'm guessing the thinking is that if people invest something, then they'll be more invested in actually ensuring that it gets done.
Yes, perfectly put. So, yes. And persons complain that the $10,000 is small, and that's not a lot of money, which is true. But remembering too that if there's only $1 million, $1 million sounds like a lot of money, but if you look at the number of small businesses that we have in Turks and Caicos, $1 million is not a lot of money, because that has to be spread so thinly across various sectors. So it is capped at $10,000, yes. But we're hoping that this allows you to, it gives you the support to do or to move to the next level, and it is not the be all and end all. So if for example you're coming to the program and you have nothing, and the only thing you have is the $10,000 that you are supposing to get from the program, then you're not really invested in your business per se. Because you're not bringing anything to the table.
What you're looking for are individuals that have invested in their business, that are looking to grow their business, rather than, I'm not going to say not invest in startups, but rather than people who haven't invested the time in ensuring that they have secure finances.
Right. But in a sort of way, yes, but and I would also say too that it's not precluding a startup. It's not saying that getting money for a business that has not yet started is impossible, because that's not. We want to encourage persons who haven't yet started to come and say, I want to start. But what we're saying is that $10,000 would go towards what you have. $10,000 would not be everything that you need. So there has to be some investment from you. You have to pay the $25 application fee. You would have had to pay your business licensing fee, for example. These are things that you would have had to have done already. You would have had to invest in certain things in order to get to a point where you now need the $10,000 in order to move to that next level. So there has to be some vested interest from you. And then again, I go back to the business plan. If you are absolutely serious about doing your business, you can gripe that this business plan may be long, but how much passion do you have to really see this idea through to fruition? The passion that you have will drive you to completing that and coming back with your application.
Well, whenever I speak to persons about growing a business and developing a business, especially over the long term, I always like to use Eurostar as an example. The train that goes between London and Paris. And when I was in the UK, I remember there was this story, in 2014 that broke about Eurostar making its first profit And Eurostar has been in existence since the early 1970s.
Wow.
And they made their first profit in 2014.
Wow. Okay.
And
That's interesting. Wow.
and they didn't just make any profit. I think they made something like £3 billion in profit.
Right.
So that goes to the whole idea of investing in the business over the long term and having a long term vision for the business.
Right.
You know. So do you think that persons coming to invest TCI in the CED, is that part of what you're trying to encourage them to do, to have a long-term
Yes.
vision for the business?
Yes.
You know, to not expect to get rich overnight, but to have a sound financial plan. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Robinson and Mrs. Musgrove.
Good afternoon.
How are you? This sounds like Miss Thomas.
This is Miss Thomas.
Feeling better?
Not really, but work has to go on.
Absolutely thrilled to hear you.
Yes.
Thank you, and good afternoon to the listening audience.
Now, Sophie, I'm glad you called, because one of the things we wanted to know, or I wanted to know, is what are the variety of technical assistance that's being offered to individuals when they apply to the Center for Entrepreneurial Development?
Well, under the SME scheme, I would speak to those first, and then I can also tell you about the other general services that the CD would provide. I don't know if you've given your audience a little background on the CD already. Have you done that?
No. We unfortunately, we were hoping you called so that you would be able to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, the Center for Entrepreneurial Development, or CED, performs a variety of roles. Main mandate is to assist micro, small, and medium enterprises with the growth and, well, actually the development and growth of their businesses, so that they would be sustainable businesses. They can contribute to economic growth of the country, add to the growth of and employment. We want the SMEs to be climate resistant in the changing market environment. We want them to be innovative and indeed practice good sound management practices in their businesses, and also to be very competitive, whether here in the local market and indeed regional and international markets. And so in order to achieve that, we would offer a variety of services, including business plan preparation, market research, and market analysis. We definitely would train SMEs on a consistent basis, whether startup training in the areas of startup or in management practices. So those are just a drop in the bucket of some of the services that the CD will be providing. But in terms of our relationship with the Invest TCI, I must say from the onset that the CD is not a part of Invest TCI. And I kind of sound like a sports record saying that.
Well, we've covered that.
Okay, good. Yeah, we are a nonprofit organization, and but we do have a relationship with them because we definitely have the same mandate to work with the SME sector to see them be successful, And so our role in this program is to assist with the technical assistance component. And according to the ordinance, technical assistance grants can be granted, to anyone who would have had an approved concession order, and they can receive a grant of up to $10,000 in various areas for technical assistance. Things, for example, like your business plan development, helping you with your research and design, packaging and labeling is one of the areas that we find some of the businesses have an issue with. Those persons who are doing manufacturing, helping them with their production process. And when I say we help them, if we don't have the resources here, we can certainly, we have that network, whether in the region or internationally.
Well, that was going to be my question, is that what if the person requires assistance that's not available on island at the time? I mean, how would that work?
Right, then, or under the technical assistance program, that's where you would get up to 50% cost of whatever that technical assistance would cost, so that you can obtain that sort of assistance.
So they're just confirming that there is a cost placed on all technical assistance.
Pardon?
Just confirming that there is a cost placed on all technical assistance, and that too is capped at $10,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there may be some technical assistance that don't require any cost. I mean,
Right.
luckily, if you can find that. But we're talking about some highly skilled areas too, eh? For example, if they need some managerial accounting, conducting feasibility studies, and even helping them with production design. Areas like that are very technical areas, and there's always a cost attached to it, eh?
Okay. So in terms of the overall objectives of the program, how does the CED intend to achieve these objectives along with Invest TCI? You know, ma'am, that's what I'm throwing out to the both of you.
And you're breaking the last bit there in terms of the overall objective of the program.
The overall objectives of the MSME program. How does Invest TCI and the CED intend to achieve these objectives, so to speak?
Well, we're certainly working closely together. As a matter of fact, we are participating in the roadshow that they're having this week and next week, to sensitize the public of the program. And we're definitely going to be working in collaboration with them to achieve both the objectives of the CED and the Invest TCI mandate under the SME bill. And we definitely require the assistance of the public, especially those persons who have who have these technical skills that they can lend in assisting SMEs in helping to deliver some of these areas. So we would require that they contact us or contact Invest TCI to register their assistance, because we definitely will be calling on you. If we can source these type of assistance locally, why not keep the funds circulating right in the country?
I am absolutely in favor of that.
You know, having it go abroad.
I am 100% absolutely in favor of that. I've been asking individuals, just that I know, why don't you try someone locally to see if they can actually assist you in certain areas?
For example, one of the areas is helping them to develop marketing plans. I'm sure there are a number of persons right within the country who can assist in an area like this, eh? And there may be some larger businesses out there who already are seasoned in some of these areas and can lend their mentoring assistance to these SMEs. And we would certainly value their contribution as well. They can come on as mentors. You have to excuse me a bit because I'm right in the path of the airport.
Oh,
And I have a competition from a passing flight.
okay, that's understandable. Now, in terms of the awareness campaign that you guys started,
Are you hearing me again now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Now, I'm asking you and Angela, in terms of the awareness campaign that you guys have started, I'm guessing, this show is a part of that. How has the reception been You know, have you seen more people starting to come in? I know Angela said they've seemed to have gotten more inquiries as they go along. Is it the same with the CED? Have you seen more people
Well,
come in to
I can
inquire
tell you
and
the
say,
CED phone hasn't really stopped ringing.
mm-hmm,
We have seen certainly much more inquiries
Definitely.
since we have begun the marketing campaign.
Yes, I was telling Damian earlier, I hope those inquiries, are translated into applications. But definitely since Tuesday, we have seen a huge increase in the number of inquiries. So it seems as if, people are hearing. And then we also engaged the support of Lime and Digicel to assist us with sending out the text messages.
I
So
am quite
even
well
those who...
Yeah,
So those
the thing
persons
is,
who didn't...
information is power, eh? And the more persons are aware, they can make some informed decisions. There are persons who have not really known about the SME bill, eh? And there are those who knew that it was coming on stream and didn't really know that. Because honestly, we get so busy, particularly here in Providenciales, sometimes that we don't pay much attention as to what's happening in our country.
Absolutely
and
true.
So that's why this awareness campaign is so important to sensitize the public. And I really would impress on persons to either go out and hear what is being communicated in the town hall meetings, or certainly contact an Invest TCI office or the CED. And I don't know if you were able to communicate our phone number, but for those persons who don't know, the CED phone is 231-1233 or 231-1-CED. If you can't remember the 1233.
One
So that's
CED.
231-1-CED.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you guys, what in terms of the expectation from these different leads that you're getting, what percentage of existing small businesses and potential startups that you guys expect to actually translate into applications? Sophie, you hearing me? Hello? Hello? Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, you hearing me,
Oh,
Sophie?
you cut out for a second there.
Oh, my apologies. I was asking you guys, in terms of the leads that you're getting right now, that that's jumped. What percentage of those small business owners or potential startups that you actually
Jamal,
expect?
Can you hold another second for me, please? Next time I'm going to relocate.
Angela, maybe you can go ahead and start with answering that one.
In terms of the actual percentages, I don't think we've actually sat down and worked out exactly what percentage we would want to see. I would like to see as many persons as possible benefit from the program, and even when persons have been coming in and asking for consultations, for example, to determine whether or not they can benefit from any of the program
Assistance.
program assistance, given their current vein of business. I would counsel them in terms of, maybe you can't benefit because this doesn't fall, however this small sector of your business does. Because what we want persons to understand, we want to see as many people as possible benefit from the program, one, and we want to see businesses that are sustained. So I'll give you an example. I had someone come in to see me and they wanted assistance with a particular business. Now they do several things in their business. Now what I said to them was, your business as it is, the general scheme of your business cannot qualify. However, this particular project within your business, if you want to expand this area, that can qualify.
Okay.
So what we're looking at is ensuring, because you're applying based on a project. That's what we call projects, which is why we say that your business projects qualify. So let's say, for example, I have a catering business. So you can't come to me for catering because catering doesn't fall within our priority areas. but as a part of your, I mean, under your whole whatever your services that you offer, you also bottle water. Just give an example. You also bottle water as your brand, and you serve that to your clientele base. So while catering may not be qualified, your bottling water may qualify, because bottling water, is considered a part of processing and manufacturing. So you may want to expand that particular segment of your business. So that segment of your business would qualify as a project.
So
that
even
can get
even if I
assistance.
can't get assistance for the business as a whole,
Right.
different project areas within the business
Yes.
can get assistance.
Definitely.
Okay.
And that's what we want people to understand. So don't rule out and say, well, I got catering, so that doesn't apply. But we're looking for project ideas. And you know what? Eventually
So
you'll
that
bottle
means
water.
even if I don't have that particular area that a priority area that's covered within the ordinance, if I want to start one, then I can also apply.
Right. So you may have, I go right back to my catering example, you may have the catering, your bottled water becomes a project. Who knows? The bottled water may actually take off and supersede what you're getting from your catering business and become, a new revenue stream for you. So we're encouraging persons to think like that. Think creatively on how I can make this. I got another who wanted something in terms of retail. We don't cover retail, but for example, you sell crafts. So we're not supporting that. However, if you decide I sell crafts, but what I want to do is make crafts now. So I want to begin to manufacture my own craft. So we would support you developing that project, that sector of your business.
You see, that's very interesting, because I myself thought, all right, it has to be the business as a whole that has to fall under the priority area, not segments of the business.
Right, because we're looking for projects, innovative projects that will eventually be developed into small business ideas.
I think that will help encourage more people to apply, and that may help encourage, matter of fact, it may help encourage diversity in terms of the applications you receive.
That's what we want.
So I want to ask you, what kinds of applications have you seen thus far? Has it been mainly in one particular area, or has it been a diverse number of applications?
We have not seen applications. We've had tons of inquiries, and the inquiries have been diverse. They have been diverse. So I'm glad to see that people are thinking, of the different areas that are possible under the ordinance. And I'm encouraging, again, persons to take it beyond an inquiry and really put some thought into applying and seeing how they can actually push it forward.
Because I'm thinking, let's say I'm in Salt Key, right? I'm just taking Salt Key because you're in Salt Key today. Let's say I make, and Salt Key is well known for its food items.
Right.
Let's say I make various different food items. I send it over to Grand Turk, Providenciale, South Caicos, North Caicos for sale. Now, and I want to expand that, create, not just sell food, but create a brand. Would I be able to apply under the MSME ordinance for that assistance?
But that's according to how you present exactly what your aim is as a part of that. What do you want to do? Do you now want to begin to package some of the products that you have in order to sell them, to different outlets or widen your market? So that's according to how you present your project proposal, which is why, again, I encourage persons to come in and talk about what it is they want to do, so that we can better guide them, and the Center for Entrepreneurial Development can give them greater support in terms of how they can actually, because sometimes when you sit and talk to people, it helps you to
flash out the ideas.
Yes.
So guys, if you're out there listening and you just happen to be in Salt Key making Salt Key candies, who knows, you can turn this into a very innovative brand. We have a call on the line. Go ahead, caller. Hello.
Miss Sophia.
I believe it's Sophie, you there?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, go ahead, Sophie. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello? Sophie, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'm actually glad our airport is this busy.
that's a good thing. Economic activity.
Yes, that's a sign of how the economy is doing, perhaps.
I'm trusting and I'm hoping.
Okay.
Now, I was just sitting here and talking with Angela and saying, one of the things that she was saying is that it doesn't have to be the whole of the business that falls under the MSME ordinance that where you can apply for assistance. It may be a segment of the business. And I was saying in particular, what if I was in Salt Key, selling Salt Key candies, and I wanted to turn this home business into a real brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Would I be able to get assistance for that?
That's a perfect example.
Hello?
Phone up line again.
And you're producing the candies, absolutely. We want to
Yes.
see that type of manufacturing activity
Mm-hmm.
and creativity as well, eh? So definitely.
Okay, so from your perspective, from the CED's perspective, and I'll ask Angela, have you been getting, or what do you expect in terms of the leads you get now? How many do you expect to actually turn into applications?
That's a little difficult to say, but we're certainly looking out for those very innovative and creative business ideas that will fall under this sector, under the various priority areas, as many as possible. And the funds are there, and as the minister said on Monday, if they need to go back to the drawing board next year to increase the commitment based on the demand, then they will have to do so.
Right. And I'm going to interject here and use Damian's candies, for example. When you go to Trinidad, whenever I go to Trinidad, there are always some candies, some little plums that I buy on the airport. I love the little plums. They're manufactured right there in Trinidad, and they are available, in the duty-free shops at the airport. So I want to see some salty candies, packaged and available in the various stores and airports and lounges that we have here in Turks and Caicos. So why can't somebody produce candies that I could, that are produced, packaged, and produced here in Turks and Caicos? And there are lots of persons who could make candies.
And that's what I'm thinking. We have so many people that produce so many things
Yes.
in different areas. And why shouldn't they be able to package their stuff and have it sold regularly in the supermarkets?
Precisely.
Absolutely. And Jamal, is as simple as the little local remedy that my family and I have been using over the last couple of weeks. We don't have anyone really going into bush medicines like that. I think that is an area that has really died in this country. We have a lot of older folks who have the knowledge, but I don't know how many persons are really trying to capture that knowledge and document it for the future generation. That is certainly another very innovative area that persons can go into.
Damian and I were
Natural
talking
medicine.
about the arts earlier, the literary arts and the books, and whether or not you can write a book and get support for that. That's art. That's artistic.
I remember when our church, Bethany Baptist, did a cultural extravaganza a couple of years ago, and we began to dig into the cultural history of this country. There's so much out there, and there are still a lot of people who are in their sound mind who we can go to get this information, get it documented, get it circulating to the younger generation. I think that's the kind of innovativeness that the ministry is looking for.
Speaking of documented, I mean, an idea just came to me sitting here. What if I wanted to create a documentary about a particular historical period within the Turks and Caicos Islands? Could I apply for cash or technical assistance in that area?
It's arts. It's arts.
I would
It's
think so.
creativity. It's innovation.
I would certainly think so.
Okay.
So the ideas are endless, as you can see,
Yeah,
because Damian
yeah,
is
'cause
his bursting at the seams with
I'm
them here.
sitting here and I'm just thinking, what can I do to contribute to the economic and social growth of the Turks and Caicos Islands? And I'm thinking, Miss Sophia hit the nail on the head for me.
I'll give you a tip. Do something that is youth focused.
Do something that
is youth focused. I'm sure you can find a lot of creative.
Oh, trust me, I can.
Yeah, do something that is youth focused.
I'm just sitting here. I think I'm gonna go home and have a think about things.
Yes.
You know.
You know, probably don't even go home first. Go and walk the beach and just let the waves and nature help your creativity to come alive.
Okay. Well, I know we've reached that time, and I just want to ask you guys: is there anything you want to leave with the people of the Turks and Caicos from your standpoint and your role within the MSME program?
Well, I think what I would say is to encourage persons to really do what Damian just said he would do. Begin to think about how they can actually benefit from the program. And there are lots and lots of creative ideas out there. Don't rule anything out. See how you can become an entrepreneur in your own right. Don't sit there and say I'm going to. Actually do it. Nike says just do it.
Exactly.
So my encouragement is to
just do it.
Absolutely, and don't be a procrastinator. Seize the opportunity while it lasts. And that is not to say that the program has an expiry date, right? And I also want to inject that apart from this, there may be other sources of assistance for micro, small, and medium enterprises that you're going to be hearing about in the not-too-distant future. And so if you can't qualify under this program for some assistance, there may be others that are coming on stream. So it makes sense to go and register your name, your business, particularly with the Center for Entrepreneurial Development, so that we have you in our database. We know what your interests are, what your entrepreneurial goals are, and we can always direct you in to resources that will assist you in developing those dreams.
All right, I want to thank you both for coming on, and I want to wish you guys much success with the program, and I really do hope that persons out there share these things with other individuals, and that people start applying, start thinking, what can I do to take advantage of this opportunity, and I want to wish you guys a wonderful Thursday, and of course I'll see you next week, and I want to say enjoy your weekend, and all the best to you guys. God bless. Have a great day.
Thank you for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye.